Good evening, people. Good evening. This is Spirit Journey. It's now 10:16 p.m. and today is July 25, 2020. It's Sunday. Wow. I'm just kind of dumbfounded about just some of the things that I've been watching on YouTube. So there's one video about these illegal activities happening between Australia with China, and then watching another video just a moment ago of a YouTuber, a black YouTuber, who shared about what it feels like to have completed parole. And he shared his story. And what they all seem to have in common: corruption. Corruption in the highest. And that corruption could fall against any individual, any person. They could, whether you're white, black, yellow, red, any nationality, male, female, anyone on this planet, it can happen against. I'm sad and I'm frustrated. The first video that I was watching was what I said about Australia and Communist China. You have, okay, gambling, they said in China is illegal, but they have this one town in China that you can do gambling. And what's happening is you have people approaching the ultra rich of China and have them go to Australia to do gambling, and they really dress it up. They schmooze, what I call schmoozing, those people. And the company that was doing it, that's stationed in Australia, had told the employees to do X, Y, and Z, and they promised those co-workers that it's completely safe what they're doing, but that was a lie. These people were to recruit, bring in people from China, and the people followed. They were afraid to lose their job, and they were coerced by the company. And they did get arrested. The employees, but not the heads up. Nothing happened to the heads up. They showed some of the homes of some of these people. Ultra, the mansions. You have people from Communist China living in Australia in mansions. And, just imagine you see people, the ultra wealthy, and you notice, they're not being racially profiled. You have criminals who are doing criminal things. And so, when you're a criminal, your behavior and what to look for to law enforcement, it should be, like a red flag. But they're not being hounded. But now where the second video comes in, there's a black young fellow, black American, who was accused of something that he didn't do. In his youth. He was 15 or 16 at the time. Did 3.5 years prison in one of the worst prisons in the United States. Then he was given a probation, an illegal amount of probation based on the crime, and that the judge had done that, which was the judge did something that was illegal, and his lawyer did something that was illegal too, against him. So here you have people, lawyers and judges, who some of them might maybe go into Ivy League schools, and they're supposed to, people look up to them. But these are the real criminals. You have real criminals, but, they're white many times. They wear a nice suit and tie. And they live in fancy neighborhoods. Their kids go to fancy schools, drive fancy cars. And those who are really and truly innocent of what they've been accused of are the ones who are being propagandized and told that because what they look like, or told because of their race, that they're criminal and bad. And when they walk down the street, that they're harassed by cops. And when they get falsely arrested, that when they come out as felons. So they're living on the fringe. So now they can't get certain jobs. They can't live in certain places, or in what they call public housing, all these things. And it's another way of enslaving somebody in a sneaky way, keeping them in bondage. And I think also with a felon that you can't, I don't think you can get a passport. I'm not sure about that, but you're restricted and like you're in prison in your own country. This is an evil. So, okay, you have those two stories, those two scenarios. But what I find where they kind of favor, where they kind of, what's common about both situations is that you have, what it looks like to me with the second scenario, the young teen that was thrown in prison, that, see, they get money. These prisons are run by private organizations, private companies, and so it's by profit. And so you have money being sold. People are selling black people, in essence, when you throw them in prison. Okay, and I thought slavery was supposed to end. Yes, they said about the 13th Amendment. These are evils that are being done now. What else with the commonality now? So you have an institution that's receiving money, and that's blood money and dirty money. When you falsely accuse someone and throw them in prison, that is blood money and tainted money. So that money, I'm sure, is being funneled somewhere, okay? That money is being funneled somewhere. Then in the first scenario with the Australia and China correlation, they're bedfellows. Just because they're different races, yellow and white, they are bedfellows. And it seems like, again, the common denominator in this, you have what do you call, what do you call it now? Sex trafficking / human trafficking, money laundering, and drugs being sold, illicit drugs. And this it's generating money, 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 money. Why do you need all? Why do you have to do this type of activity? Can't people just do an honest day's work for honest day's pay? But you have all this activity, and I don't understand. I know I sound naive when I say it, but it's more rhetorical what I'm saying. You go out your way to do illicit things. Human sex trafficking, drugs. So it's exploiting women primarily, and then forcing people to, stressing them out, and so that they want to do drugs. And then you arrested people who do the drugs, and sometimes the key is thrown away. Was that 3 strikes and you're out in some countries, at least in the States? So it sounds like a whole network to get people to spend their money. Now, why do they need in China to get people to want to go all the way to another country to gamble and lose all their money? A lot of them are losing their money. So again, they're taking this money, I think, and then what do you call it? It's what do you call it when you laundering, money laundering? They're laundering the money through these casinos to spread out. Now, okay, so it's about money, ultimately. Well, money is an illusion, is a man-made construct. And yes, if I don't get any money, how could I won't be able to take care of myself. I won't be able to buy food, pay my rent. So it's made into something to appear real. But it has us in bondage, real bondage. The monetary system is a bondage, and it seems like a global monopoly game that all of us are affected by, some more so than others. But why? Why? Well, if they're using the sex trafficking and the drugs for money, well, what else? Okay, I know I'm kind of all over the place, but okay, you have the sex trafficking and the drugs. What do those two have in common? It has to do with the person's body. When it's violating their own body. One, to engage in activity, sexual activity with oftentimes minors. It's risky because you have all these diseases out there, right? It's not a healthy activity to do that. And then the drugs causes so many deaths every year. So see, like this system wants you. It's a hateful, demonic system that wants to pervert the human being to become a reprobate, to enslaved. When you do those things, you become a slave to it. So also these things, I'm sure it alters your thinking and your outlook. Why would someone want that? Why? Because it's like suicide. It's a social suicide behavior. Because ultimately, okay, someone does the drugs, they get addicted, they don't have any more money, and so they become a criminal and may even commit murder to get money. So that could backfire on you as a society. right? There's a movie even about that. If someone got into prostitution and drugs, and I think the girl's father was involved, it hit close to home. So it's like a full circle. It affects the people who are doing corrupt things. It can cause your own life. So what is really behind this melee, this encrazement? Someone doesn't like us. Someone does not like people on this planet. It's a system that is enslaving us. It seems like all the nations are doing the same thing. They're all doing the same thing. Why? Why? What do these people get off for doing these things? Unless what? It's a war game. It is a war game happening to the citizens on planet Earth. I watched this program called Farsight. They also have a YouTube channel. And they were making mention of a lot of the things they talk about is what do you call it? They use a term for it. Oh yeah, off-terrestrial objects, meaning spacecrafts. There are people from other worlds, so-called advanced societies, and they're probably trading. It's amazing. They're trading peoples. They're committing wars on this planet. A lot of the things that you see on the planet, these like these, looks like craters in some places. These were weapons that there was a big war on this planet. And so they could be fighting for dominance. Who's going to take care of what turf? And there's so many different layers to it. Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't get my doggy. Yeah, they're all with me right now. Yeah, so you have off-planet businesses. It's a racket. Kidnapping people, drugs. I still get confused though. Are they doing drugs off planet? Or it's the same melee that's happening here, happening on those other planets? And everybody, it's like the wild, wild west. That's what it looks like, folks. It's a layer, it's like an onion. All different layers, and they're all doing the same thing, and things are happening. We have to wake up. We have to stop doing this evil stuff. It's like we're all doing evil against each other. Family members doing evil upon family members. Co-workers doing evil upon co-workers just to get an extra penny. I've been at jobs where I saw fist fights with the so-called minority teens and young adults fighting for money, for a customer. It is awful, awful. There's no love. We sell drugs to members of our own communities. We lie on each other. And it's global. It's global. We're being sold. This planet acts like a prison. The only difference is that some of us have a longer leash than others. How can we stop all this melee from happening? It is sickening, and people benefiting off of our demise. It's purely satanic. Again, it could, to some people, to some genres, they say that you have low energy entities that feed off of negativity. They're having a field day in the prisons because, they're in cells, right? What is a cell? A battery. And they're stuck in there, and what are each of the cells made out of? Steel. Steel is a conductor of electricity, right? It's used to intensify the energy like a booster and just sucking the energy. Don't you notice in those prisons there's so much violence and melee? Well, they're feeding off of those entities. And what also do they do in these prisons? They rape. Why would a man want to rape another man? Well, it's happening. They're feeding off of your body. Why is it so profitable? Who profits? Who gains? But those low energy entities benefiting off of who primarily is in those prisons. Who's being told who's the so-called sex machine or sex addicts? Okay, it's not by accident. Nothing that you see what's happening. Everything that you see is by design. So what we see that's happening in the government, from all level governments, or people who are making things happen. So whether you're Republican or Democrat, you're all working for the same thing. Same coin, just different heads, different size of that coin. But they both do the same thing. Please, we need to wake up. We need to stop the violence and start living a goodly, sane life. Thank you all for listening. I hope I made sense. I'm still trying to figure out this mess. Look at the common denominator. Money. Even though money really is not real. It's about people and their souls are being sold and being violated. Let's stop this nonsense and live a goodly, clean life. I thank you again for listening. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.